that thing on? Is that thing on? Are we on? Why, hello. This is the Unscripted All Talk podcast. We are 6 real New Yorkers with real ideas about varied topics. And we're glad to be here with you. Let's see, today, should we go down the line? We have DJ MVP.
I'm back for a limited time only.
And his feet are out today, by the way. Crazy. He's out
Luckily, we can't adjust the camera to my toes.
Flip flops. You'll be looking for him on. You can find him on Foot Finder. DJ MVP, Long Island.
On sale right now.
I was supposed to wear my man heels today. I totally forgot.
Mike, you're supposed to bring those in. Yes.
Those are legacy by now. We have also Jen, the realtor, here.
Hey, everybody.
Friendly local realtor. I am Tina Noche.
This is crazy.
And
I want to know what
Choco Poppy, my hope is you will introduce
Chief Choco
our
Poppy,
guest
by the
today,
way.
our special
Just
guest.
adding more C's to there.
Hello, no, well, Christina said that Chief Choco Poppy just went. It just rolls off the tongue. You know what I mean? So I'm sticking with it. I'm using it. And
I disagree.
I
like Choco Poppy, period. Okay, go ahead, hon.
I'll take either one. I'll take either one now. Hey guys, how you doing? Josh here, Chief Choco Poppy in the building. And we do have a very special guest on the show with him. My personal friend. I believe he's, I want to say like almost like one of my go-tos, like one of my therapists essentially, because I think he's just like this amazing ball of knowledge, excuse me. So my friend Wajid Qureshi is joining us.
Woo, welcome.
Hello, everyone.
What's your IG?
Waj NYC.
That's it. There's no dot. There's a dot in there.
No dots.
Just Waj NYC.
Keep it simple.
I like it, baby. I like it. and you see, I look homeless. No, I'm not like homeless today. Actually,
You're representing today.
My 8-Bit Bites T-shirt today because today's been a long day for me.
Check them out.
Check them out. Yes.
Hottest restaurant on Long Island.
Center Reach, New York.
Thank you very much. That was good. See you on talk. It's my man.
Oh, I like it.
That was nice. I like that soundbite, baby. So.
Did everyone have a good weekend?
Oh.
Great weekend. Long weekend, right?
Oh, there we go.
Did you guys see the Blue Angels? I'm obsessed with the Blue Angels.
I've never heard of this in my life.
Oh my God, are you serious?
No.
That's so sad.
You mean the air
I
show?
was so yes.
Sounds kind of crazy.
I know about this air show.
I've heard about this before.
Yeah. It's the best
Jen,
page.
share a minute about how important the air show is.
I don't.
How important?
Yes,
it is,
please,
but
to you.
I mean, it might
It's
be cool.
important because you get to see old school airplanes, how they used to fight back in the day. If you like history, I think it's a nice show. But I like it because I get to go with my family. It's the first time we get to the beach to start the year off. We cook, we bring our food, we bring a big ass cooler. This year I wasn't feeling well, and I'm glad I didn't go because they canceled the Blue Angels on both days, Saturday and Sunday.
So wait a second.
So I went to the Farmingdale Airport instead, and I actually saw them do tricks, and I saw them lift off and land. It was the coolest thing ever.
Oh, so you seen them like practicing?
Yeah.
What was this like? How'd you know they were there though?
It's announced everywhere. It's a yearly
That's where they take off
Memorial
from.
Day air show.
The
It's called the
public airport.
Bethpage
Okay,
Air
but you said
Show.
they canceled the show though. So how'd you know they were
They
at
did.
Farmingdale?
Well, that's where they land every year.
Oh, they always land there. You're
Yeah,
saying, so when they
the
come back.
Farmingdale. You know the one.
So you kind of, so you stalked them in other words.
No, I wouldn't go that far.
The show was in one place. And you went somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's stalking.
Because I wasn't feeling well. I couldn't go to the beach. I wasn't gonna miss my Blue Angels.
Right.
What is this music you playing right now?
Danger Zone. You don't know Danger Zone?
Stop. This is.
Oh, Top Gun? were you sleeping during the
None of
80s?
the above.
All right.
I was
So
born in the 80s, bro. So I mean, damn
how do
near.
you not know Top Gun?
I mean, maybe I've seen it. I don't
All
think
right.
so.
You've definitely seen that movie.
Yeah, I did see number 2. I did see number 2. That's when I see that.
But let's talk about some of the current news topics. Tina, do you have?
No.
Oh.
Moving on to our topic for our show today.
Yeah.
Ladies and
of
gentlemen, there's no
relationships.
current events. Everything's old news. All right.
All news is old news is good news.
I'll-
We got news.
we doing news now, or are we going into our topic?
Nah, we definitely got news.
Oh, all right then. News. Right at you.
Because we have a non-Apple phone in our group chat, I cannot see that from my computer.
Me.
No, it's all
In the notes.
I tell you,
Got it.
some people just like
Hey,
being terrible.
really quickly, while we get y'all on track as far as news and what's happening, please like and subscribe us.
And comment, please.
Comment.
We can actually see your comments now.
Yeah.
We want to see you saying hi,
Can you see the
hello.
comments on that?
It's
Yeah,
not
we're
on
not-
there. There's nothing on there.
Wealthy New York pair.
Well, the other part about, I mean, I liked it last week when I could see myself.
Oh,
See, I don't
yeah.
know
It was
if it's
nice.
that there's no
You like
comments
seeing
or
yourself?
that
I do like seeing
things
myself. It was
wrong.
nice. It was a good feeling, you know.
Maybe
what I
they
mean?
could just say
Seeing, like,
hi, so at least we can
what I
see.
was
Watching yourself?
projecting.
Maybe.
Nothing there yet.
Why
There
you
could be
say
like a
that?
test. or something.
Not to say you like
Something.
watching yourself.
No, bro, that's creepy.
So, are we pulling up the news? What's the story here? Who's got news?
You said you like
News
No,
coming
The
up.
last
I didn't say it
update
like
I
that.
have is
Anything happened
April
this
You
9th.
said it
You
creepily.
said I could see myself.
We want to
No,
do.
that's wild.
We are going to be talking about relationships.
Yes, we are.
That's our
Yeah.
topic
Yes.
today.
Are we?
And
Do we have our topics, or are we
our
moving into our
topic
topic
is
today? Because
red
this news is not
flag
coming right now.
relationships.
See, you can see the comment now.
So,
Yeah.
Oh,
there we go.
hello.
Hello.
Hola.
Mimi Landia? Mimi Landla?
Mimi.
Hey Mimi, what's going on?
Hey, Mimi. Thanks for saying hello.
All right, Morrison,
Haha.
That's not me, bro.
No?
No, how does that?
Jora.
John. Hey, John.
John's calling you out.
You don't know this, John?
I don't even know. Maybe.
He must know you.
I mean,
John.
I mean-
John
You didn't say
Rampage.
chocolate
I'll take
pie.
it. Oh, that's my dude. Ray, what up, baby? Yeah, work too. Shout out to my homie Ray. It's my guy.
That's what it was.
That's funny.
All right, so I said we're going to our main topic.
Yeah,
thing right
let's
now.
go into the
Yeah, the
topic.
news can
Lots.
come
We're
up.
having technical difficulties back there. it
So
sounds
not
like,
only
though.
are we talking about relationships, we are talking about red flags in relationships.
Dun, dun, dun.
Something we all see maybe after the fact, but perhaps by us talking about them up front a little today, we can help you the next time that you should potentially pick up on these flags that are there. They're always there.
They are. We just happen to not see them. They go woo right over our heads.
Well, for men, I think it's, we start thinking with one of our other heads as opposed to the other one. And
Well, there you have it.
you get lost sometimes
That's
in
true.
the sauce.
What's your red flag, Josh?
Like now?
Red flag of choice.
No, honestly.
What's your number one red flag that when you see
Now-
that in a
go ahead.
woman, you cut her right off?
So for me, like literally their relationship with their parents.
Oh.
Nowadays, I've learned that that's such a huge red flag. You know what I mean? If and again, this is not everyone.
Yeah.
But if they didn't grow up with a father in their life, you know what I mean? Their relationship with their mother, how they get along, and things like that. All those things nowadays are really, really big red flags.
Yeah.
Just because, unless you've done the real mature work that needs to be done to heal from those things. Because a lot of the times we tell ourselves oh no, we're good, no, we're fine. It didn't affect me as much as I did though. I'm 30 years old. I'm really not affected by it. It's a lie.
It is.
If you have not done that work, you are 1,000% damaged goods.
That is very
and
true.
there's work that needs to be done for you to heal from those things.
Yep.
So if that relationship is and again, let's be clear here. I can't say I have the best relationship with my parents, but I've done the healing work that's needed so that I understand, okay, well, this is why I do certain things. This is why I talk a certain type of way. And, I've learned to deal with it and be able to move past it and things like that.
That's good. That's awesome. Same.
And it's still in the process of growing. I'm not 100% complete. I'm not there. I'm not perfect. But it is something that I consciously work on to make myself better.
Yeah,
at every
we're
single
always
day.
growing. We're always learning.
Not to put Watch on the spot here, but
Yeah.
as our new
Well, I was gonna add to what Josh said. I get it. The relationship with the parents is important, but it's also a two-way street, right? Sometimes you realize the value of your parents a lot later, and by then it might be too late, right? So, so I think it's more about the parents' relationship with the child is more important, not the other way around, right? Because
Interesting.
they set the platform, how you communicate with others, how you respect morals, cultures, that comes from the foundation of the parents.
Yeah.
Right. If a child hasn't been exposed to all that, he's just a product of society. You know, the environment that he's going in.
Yeah. And
by the time they get kicked around by like a football after a while, and they're like, whoa, this is what I want. This is who I am. And then they go looking for their recharge station, and sometimes it's not there. The base isn't there anymore. So it's true. I think the relationship is a very, very important factor.
Yeah.
Parents' relationship particularly, it's the longest relationship you have, right? But I think I agree. It is true. It's both ways. I think for me personally, one of the red flags is the lack of communication. It's so important.
Yeah.
Right.
And Josh and I have spoken about this in the past too, where I think communication is a very, very important. You can say like a love language to have in a relationship, right?
Yeah.
Where I get it, not everybody has the tools to communicate at all times, right?
Yeah.
There's introverts, right? Some people, but they will find a way to communicate. They'll find the right channel, is what I mean, right? Whether it is through like text messages, whether it's through emails. Affection is a form of communication too, right? Letting the other person know. But if you're hesitant and you're hiding, because humans are born to communicate, right? So if you're hiding all that, I think that's already telling me you're distancing yourself from
Oh yeah.
Right?
And all that's gonna come out at one point.
Yeah, so I think part of loving, they say love and doubt don't walk down the same street together, right? So
He's just warming up. I'm telling you right now. He's just warming up. What'd you say now? Say the quote again.
Love and doubt don't walk down the
same street together.
Yeah. Because when doubt walks in, love walks out, right? So it's going back to communication.
Or actually, I was thinking doubt kind of falls away while love takes over the sidewalk.
Yeah.
I could on both those agree. I was in one long-term relationship and I felt isolated from a whole part of this person's life, and that lack of being let in, I was like, all right, I gotta go. It's the relationship had matured to a point where I'm this should be an open conversation in terms of all aspects of each other's lives. Now in my current relationship, which I think God has blessed me with and I've talked about before, she had some doubts she talked about, right? And the further in this road we've gone, the more they've been washed away. And not to get to generalize it, maybe this one scenario where I had issues in past relationships, the way I've reciprocated has erased that feeling, and that doubt on her end. So I could definitely agree with you on that love and doubt. When there's too much doubt, guess what? MVP's out.
Now he's rhyming too.
What about you, Christina? What's your top number one red flag right now?
Oh, my number one red flag. It's interesting, that communication one. I think it does go back to that on some level, because not only do you have to know yourself, you have to somehow figure out how to communicate with that other person, right? And you're both kind of coming out of yourself to see if you can communicate. So it's sort of like a 3-step process, right?
Yeah.
But red flags? For me, red flags are just sometimes absolutely hysterical. Because you see or hear something and it's like, for instance. Come on. Let's do some dating red flags, Josh. Come on. Yeah, go back in the crypt.
What?
So,
Jennifer didn't even go yet.
What's
so
the worst?
I mean,
Well, I'm not dating.
you have though.
well, my thought for you, Jennifer, was actually to go back to what we were saying about family, and the importance of that. Once you are in partnership with someone, how that changes. There's a difference from up front being oh, the family, they're so kind and polite, but then once you really merge as two families.
Before we move on, I just want to say again, though, and I think in today's society as well, though, that the red flag conversation is what everyone kind of talks about so much of. And I think that, again, though, it's a bad habit that can form as well, though, because, again, there are, again, not that you want to change the person that you're with and things like that, though, but there are ways where sometimes you do. I think God puts you into someone's life to make them a better person or to help them understand certain things. You know what I mean?
That's true.
If you come across someone that may not know how to necessarily understand what that self-love is like, that can rub off onto the other person, and it's like, okay, this is what a healthy conversation looks like. This is what healthy communication looks like. It's just more so that person understanding, okay, well, what I am doing is unhealthy, and more importantly, you know what? I'm not used to this, but I'm willing to try it.
Yep.
I'm at least willing to step out of my comfort zone to try something new. And I think that more so like the green flags of what a relationship could be.
The topic of our show
can be
today
lessened,
is red flags.
I know,
mean,
but
we
I'm
can
just
talk about green
Well,
flags.
I'm not gonna be
next week.
negative about the whole
But I'm
conversation,
saying-
though.
Then I gotta be back. I gotta cancel my event. I got so many green flags in my relationship
I'm
right
saying.
now. Like
Yes.
it's saying go. There's no
Well,
stop
flags are
signs.
fine.
I think like when walking into a relationship, right? You're not going into a relationship with like a checklist of red flags in the
Yeah.
first place,
No.
right?
Yeah.
I think a red flag is something that just comes up when the first question comes up.
Yeah.
Like, hey, and I think part of a healthy relationship is consistency, right? So when there's a lack in the flow and something's off the pattern, there's that. He's gonna bring it back again, but it's like, you can doubt my words, you can even doubt my actions, but never doubt my patterns, right? And that really stands
that
apart.
Goes for cheaters. Once they cheat once, that's it. They're gonna
Yeah.
keep doing it.
That's
it.
not true.
That is
Trust.
so very
That is
true.
not true.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this one.
Okay, go
All
ahead.
right.
No, I disagree with you. So for me personally, and not something that I'm proud of. Let's start by saying that at all.
Red flag number one. Continue, please.
Can we ever be bullied up here? Okay.
No, go ahead.
I mean, if this is
I'm just number one.
this is so supposed to be a safe space.
It is a safe space.
Is it though? Because I'm being
It
bullied
is.
to my right.
You're not being
ahead.
bullied, you're being
Go ahead.
moderated.
Tell me.
Continue,
You
Joshua.
cheated. You
So-
cheated on your girlfriend.
Okay.
I never said that.
Oh, I thought you said you started with
I
I'm not
just said
proud of it.
No.
Right?
Okay,
Did he
well,
not? He started with
he
I'm not proud
I
of
think
this.
I think
It
he was
was-
about to come up to some sort of a confession.
Thank
Yes.
you very
Okay.
much.
Whereas
Things
I
got
cheated
vaulted.
once, but that
I
doesn't
was
mean I was
cut
going
off.
to cheat
But I think
again.
we should let
that's
him
what
give
we
out
were-
the portrayal of his.
Yeah, go
Thank
ahead.
you very
Cecil.
much. Let
You
me
know.
speak
Go
from
ahead, Choco Puppy.
experience, okay? So again, I have no problem admitting I have cheated in past relationships, and again, like I said, let me be clear that this is not something that I'm proud of. This is not something that I think any man at some point in your life you should do. You should be very, very upfront about who you are and what you're looking for and those kind of things. But for me, again, I'll be saying that when you said like, once a cheater, always a cheater, I disagree because here's my thing. I'm at a point now in my life where I have cheated before. I was very much into the person that I was dating. And what took time for me was to understand why I cheated. See, that's the thing that no one ever looks into.
Yeah.
And I compare it to, and it may sound crazy coming from me, I compare it to the person who, I have a friend, and I won't say his name, but I had to learn and understand something on the bottom. It was like why do you drink? Like he would drink. And I'm like, okay, why do you drink excessively though? He's like, well, whenever I feel alone or I'm bored or just like I have like, he gets almost anxious, he would drink. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And sometimes it would be excessively and things like that as well. So with cheaters, it's the same thing though. There's a trigger. There's
is.
something that's there that makes you feel unfulfilled to cheat. Now, don't get me wrong. There are men in the world that are just insatiable. There's nothing you can do about them. Those are human beings that are just gonna they're looking to fulfill something that's just can never be filled.
So
But
that ties back to like the lack of communication
Yeah.
in the relationship.
Absolutely.
That's leading you.
Real
But
quick.
before
Can it be
that
prevented?
individual
I
probably
think so,
has
though.
Right.
deep, like I said, like unsettled issues.
yes,
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
what I'm
It's
getting
like
at.
I could agree with Josh. Like when I was younger, I didn't value what I had, so it was like like whatever, high school, and I'm dating Veronica, and then all of a sudden I hang out and make out with Tiffany, and Veronica finds out. I'm like, well, I didn't really care about you, Veronica. You were a
Move on to the
placeholder.
next one.
I still didn't understand the dynamics of actually caring for someone else because I still had some self-care issues I need to work on.
Exactly.
You know?
And that's what I was gonna get at. Like again, when it comes to cheating, there's definitely there's, for me at least, I can talk only for myself. There was something that was unfulfilled in me, I think, from like my childhood and things like that. The other part about it was I also started having relations at a very young age. So it almost became desensitized for me. You know what I mean? I grew up watching, the older men in my life that raised me. It was normal, and that this is just the truth. You know what I mean? Not saying that it was okay, but for me it was so normalized to see. Okay, he had a wife, he had a girlfriend, and then he had 2 other girlfriends, and then he traveled, and he was still sleeping with women there and things like that. Though, so for me, it's very desensitized as opposed to the man who grew up. Mom and dad was mom and dad. He never seen dad do anything else. He never seen his uncles do anything else. So that guy's gonna have a different perspective on cheating. Not saying that he's not going to cheat, but his perspective is different from what he learned growing up and things like that as well.
Yeah.
The other part about it, I have friends we've had conversations about, we have sometimes we have this abandonment issue. You know what I mean? From not feeling fulfilled. So for me personally, my mom, my mother, exited from my life at a very young age. So for me, it was like, when you're in a competitive environment, you know what I mean? You feel like you have to do more and things like that to get that attention sometimes. So I had a really, really good conversation with one of my brothers at a retreat that I went to a couple months ago. I'm sorry, guys, I'm talking so much. But one of the things that me and him both discussed was most of the times, or sometimes with men, in our relationships, we get comfortable. You get comfortable, your husband gets comfortable, things like that as well. And what happens is we look for and we crave that feeling of wanting to be desired. See, and that's the thing that no one looks at. We can have an argument, we can have a disagreement, but when your go-to is F you, I don't want to be with you anymore, I don't want you in my life, blah 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 blah.
I've done that.
That triggers something in me now.
Yeah.
That's like, okay, well, and again, it may be fully out of anger. But there's a better way you could listen. I'm upset with you right now. But now here's the thing. If you know about those triggers, and like we're talking about the communication part about it, if you understand that, listen, I'm upset with you right now. I still love you, but I need some space.
Yeah.
It's very different from F you, I don't want to be with you anymore, get out of my face, leave me alone, da 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 da. Because now it triggers me back to when I was younger, when my mom left me, my dad, my uncle, this, that, and the third, my first girlfriend that cheated on me, and so all these things come up. So what do? I feel alone. I feel triggered. So I want to feel desired in some way or the other. And even though it is temporary, even though it's in the moment, and as a man, I think most men have been there where you do something with someone and you're like, I'm gonna call it post-nut trauma. I'm just calling it.
But the remorse and the guilt there.
That remorse right afterwards is like, damn, what did I just do? And you regret it in that part. I know, I'm sorry for the name.
Going to that,
Talking about PNT, right? we gotta abbreviate.
I like how you diagnosed it now. PNT.
There's, I think what Josh is kind of maybe a defensive argument is why people end up cheating, right? But nobody looks at the other end of the impact cheating has on relationships.
Oh, of course, it's horrible.
And
It's a cycle.
yes, you can say, hey, one argument is one's a cheater, one's a cheater. One's like, hey, I learned my lesson.
Yeah.
I've come back. I've seen hell, and I returned, and I said, I don't want this. I care about you, and I want more. But the impact that has on a relationship, that you lose the trust forever.
That's it.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Trust is like the universal glue that binds all the laws together, right?
Yeah.
So once the trust relationship is broken, it's never going to be. That's why I said the doubt is already hanging out and love's already on the side at this point.
Yeah.
Right? At some point, again, even a little trigger of that red flag will bring trust into question again. Right? So I think that's one of those stains that stays forever in a relationship where you've been cheated on or you cheated.
It seemed like,
But as a person who did the cheating, yes, you might have learned,
yeah.
right? And you can come back a million times and tell the person, hey, it's not the same, I've changed, but how do you gain that trust
I
back?
think inside of a relationship, I agree with you. It's broken. That's tainted and damaged.
Yeah.
The individual can grow into the next situation. Like, I'm not ready to be with someone again yet. I gotta correct my behavior, change who I am, and when I actually stop being a dog, then I can commit myself to someone. Other things I thought about in this topic, insecurity over confidence, jealousy over trust, and controlling behavior over like considerate respect. Like, I don't have to question what my girlfriend's doing, where she's at, what's going on in her life. Just where we're at, we're constantly communicating. Like, oh, I'm going to the podcast. Oh, I'm running around, grabbing this piece of equipment. I got to go see this client. I'm heading to a gig in a little bit. I'm setting up. I'm breaking down. I don't do that out of that she's controlling, and I'm like, I want her to know where I'm at, so she's not worried. Like, oh, well, the podcast ended at 9:00. No, we started late today, babe. I'm not leaving until 10 because it takes a half hour to break down.
But that's healthy communication. That's, kind of goes back to tying it again.
That's a green flag.
And a lot of the time, again, like I'm sure you and your husband, again, assuming I don't know, of course, but again, and when you're been in a relationship so long, like for you, when you go to show a property, something like that, it's probably as natural. Hey, babe, I'm about to walk into this open house.
Yeah,
yada,
that's
yada.
true. It
I'll call
is
you
very
later.
natural. Yeah.
It's just natural because again, it's and like you said right now, just now, it's not about the controlling factor of it. But again, I want to touch on something that watch it as well, though. And one of the things that I personally seen as well, and it was one of the biggest things I think impacted me the most in this journey that I've been on for the last couple of months, is understanding the hurt that you cause to this other person. Because again, now they have to look at you in a light that they never thought they would have had to.
Yep.
And that right there is, I think, one of the things that kind of hit me the most, because I was like, damn, you know what I mean? Like, how, and there's no easy fix for it. And one of the things that, one of my coaches tells me, he's like, listen, unfortunately, when you asking for forgiveness, it almost becomes a fool's game, because again, you keep asking forever. What you're asking the person to do is to accept what happened. And move past it. So you're like,
a lot of women can't do that.
And they can't.
Yeah.
Babe, forgive me. I'm so sorry. I'm this. It's a fool's game.
The ones that I feel like stay in that situation, they don't accept what you did. The structure has been like, you're so wrapped in. It's like, I can't leave this house. I can't leave this relationship. I'm afraid to go be self-supported. So you know what he did. He's a POS, or she's a POS. In most cases, it's the guy. And I'm just going to stay in this situation miserable because of all the other benefits of it. Let's look at Hillary and Bill Clinton.
But I know women that are self-sufficient, that, you know what I mean, they still stay, because again, I think if you can see a bigger picture in the situation and understand that, number one, so again, not to go there, but if we look at the religious aspect of it, right? We're all sinners at the end of the day. None of us are perfect. You know what I mean?
Truth.
And in the Bible, it says, for example, if your brother sins, you're supposed to forgive him 7 times 70. You know what I mean? So again, if I know that I'm a sinner, I know that mistakes, and God still forgives me every single day for the things that I do wrong.
Who am I not to forgive you?
Who am I not to forgive that next person for whatever it is that they may commit against me? And it's not coming from the cheater's aspect of it. And I want to be clear here. If you're cheating on, the person that's cheating on you doesn't have remorse and doesn't show true intentions to change, then no, it's a fool's game. Nothing's going to happen at that
right
point.
away. Yes.
Absolutely.
You need to leave right away.
And that's why I understand why, my relationships, some of them in the past, have not worked, because again, I was not willing to do that work that was needed for me to, I think, become the person that I am now, to understand. And I think that any person that can understand the hurt that you cause to that person and still do it, you're an absolute POS, bro. Literally.
It's back to communication with that. It's you have to sometimes make that choice between the conversation and the relationship, right? Sometimes if the relationship is more important, you let the conversation go, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes if the conversation is more important, you have to let the relationship go, right? But how do you want to interact over here, right? Are you going to just let things slide, or are you actually going to confront it, right? But I think more importantly, it goes back to like, what is your attachment style in a way. And I think in like this book Attached by Amr Levine, where they talk about, I think, like 4 different attachment styles, right? One is like a secure, one is the avoidant, dismissive, and the fearful one, right? And these really come down to your, the experiences, the impacts it's had. Like a fearful one is going to avoid intimacy. They're trying to avoid like communication because they still have trauma from the past relationships,
Yeah.
right? Versus somebody who grew up in a very healthy environment and a healthy family, they're very secure, so they're out there just communicating, expressing themselves, very lovey-dovey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
People can be dismissive, right? Where they're just trying to avoid all these conversations and, hey, why don't we talk about this? No, another time, and they keep running away from it. So it's really coming down to like, first, let's figure out what is your attachment style.
Yeah.
You know, who you are within, because if you know, it's like if your bucket's not full, you can't really give to others yet, right?
Yes.
You know,
That's
like-
what I always say. Stay single
Yep.
for a little bit
Yeah.
before getting into
Yeah.
another relationship. And I agree with John. Once the trust is broken, that's it.
Yeah.
Once you're in that relationship and you cheat on that one person, Josh, I understand what you said,
Yeah.
but once you cheat on that one person, that relationship is broken.
Yeah.
And that person is going to continue cheating
I'm a
with that one relationship.
Listen,
I'm just saying.
what culture are you from?
What, coach?
What
Culture.
Culture?
Yeah.
What does that have to do with anything?
Because I know of too many abuelos that are out there, okay, that 100% was doing grandma dirty back in the days, and him and grandma went together to have a successful 40 to 50-year relationship, but grandpa was a sucio for a little while.
And grandma was miserable the
Yeah.
rest of her life.
Grandma stayed.
And so we're
grandma
going to
was
learn
happy.
from grandma and grandpa.
No.
And as soon as that boyfriend cheats on me, I'm going to leave him and move on.
So Ray, let me break this down for you, my friend, because here's my thing. This is the reason why today's relationships are absolute trash. This is why men and women have so many dating partners.
Because
and
they're
they
not
sleep
willing
with
to
so many
overlook
people.
someone
It's
cheating?
not we are human beings. We were born.
If you're going to
sinners
cheat,
from
just
day
get
one,
out of
though.
the relationship and go. Do whatever you want to go and
No.
I have a hard time with the idea that we were born sinners. I mean, I respect your faith. You all know I'm very spiritual. I believe we are all born intact. I believe we're born needing to learn certain things, that we have experiences in life where we can choose to learn from them or not. We can choose to repeat the same cycles and patterns of behavior. But I don't see fundamental flaw.
There's, you know, there are ways, you know, you can, going back to what you said, you can avoid cheating easily.
Of course.
You
But
can
we're
be
talking
like,
about
hey,
cheating, yes.
things are not working out,
Yes.
or, you know, I'm seeing temptation out there,
Yeah.
and I'm going to basically, now I'm starting to question my veracity of
Intentions,
this
yeah.
relationship, and can I just stick around here, right?
Yeah.
And then you're like, hey, let's take a break, let me figure myself out, and I'll come back to this. You know, that I think is more acceptable in the long run than that one little, you know, zap that you've caused the other person. You know?
Absolutely.
And you know, we're talking about it where it's like, you know, we all made like a jigsaw puzzle in our life, right? At some point, we all took puzzle pieces and we put them together. But every now and then we have that puzzle piece that just fits together so perfectly, right? But it just doesn't belong there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You look at it, you're like, oh no, this goes here. You need to stop forcing that piece over there.
Yes.
It's like, hey, the reason it doesn't fit there is because the environment is not supporting it. Something's wrong in
Exactly.
the bigger picture around
Yes.
it, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So you just take it. You're like, listen, I get along really well with you, but I can't really be with you. You know, so maybe you're just a good friend in my life, or just unexperienced, and this was good.
Right.
They do fit the bigger picture, but just
Yeah.
not there.
I think
Stop
sometimes-
Exactly. But
forcing
we need
those.
to
Right.
we need to identify that in our relationships.
I think sometimes with like the red flags, like you have people that just have a lustful attraction or an obsession, or they're looking for like really like a placeholder, somebody to fill a role, like they're what do you call it? Like
you're
serial
filling it at the
daters or
moment,
something
yeah,
like that,
yeah.
right? But then when maybe you have someone who is a little damaged and working on their interpersonal relationship, trying to grow. Like there was a statement I saw. It's like everybody has baggage, right? You got that baggage, the damage from other relationships. That you find someone that helps you unpack that baggage.
Right.
And it's like, I'm not only healing with you as I'm working on myself, but we're growing together. So it's like,
And I would argue that on some level, God wants for the two of you to align. Like you attract for some reason.
and that's those two puzzle pieces
Yeah.
that actually fit
Okay, but
Yeah.
see,
instead of being forced.
opposed to what you're saying, like you said though, again, you're growing together. So in that growing, right? Again, as I'm unpacking things, right? And I'm not saying that again, it doesn't have to be cheating. It may be you may meet someone who, for example, they might be a drinker. You know what I mean? And they just don't understand what that limitation is to them at that point, though. Or a smoker, for that matter. You know what I mean? We're going to the, I don't want to say the extreme of drinking, to the extreme of cheating, because let's be honest here. There are people that could get absolutely blacked out drunk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just as damaging, because let's be honest here. When you're drunk, the things that you're saying to that, you know, and especially if you're a bad drunk, you're being disrespectful to the person. You're calling them out of their name. You know, there's 100 different things that you could be doing that's just as damaging, I feel personally, as triggering. Because why? For example, I have a friend of mine. She talks about it where her dad was a drinker. You know what I mean? So she would see that growing up.
Yeah.
Now imagine you start dating someone and things are fun and cool, and all of a sudden you find out, you know.
Heavy drinking.
In the beginning, yeah, you know, because in the beginning everyone's putting on a show.
Yeah.
Let's just call it what it is. In the beginning,
Showing your
it's like
good side.
you're ponying, you know. You're out here fancied up, and you know you're sipping your wine. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And then you get comfortable, and it's like, boom, 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 boom. Before you know it, he's 8 shots in and ordering more, and you're like, what the hell's going on?
Who is this
But
guy?
remember something.
Who is this person?
You fell in love with this person already, or you feel that way at least, though. So now 6 months in, you're like, damn, I don't want to leave this person. All right, maybe we can make this work. Maybe I can, what's the name? And at that point, you go and you want to fix these things.
Yeah.
And I just don't think that, I seen a red flag, I'm gone now, that's it, and I'm out of here, though. For me personally, that's not love. That's not the way that I love.
So if you see a red flag,
I don't give up on someone so
when
easily.
you do see a red flag, does that allow, should you communicate, or that makes way for somebody to go cheat at that point?
No, I think that, and again, in a healthy relationship, you can communicate with that to the person. And depending on what that person says and what their feedback is, that's what's going to tell you so much of it at that point, though. But again, the idea of like, you did this, I'm done now, and now this is just who you are. I'm just sorry. I don't believe that. And again, I think that, and I'll be honest with you, I've been hurt for that same reason in my life, because again, we're gonna go there. I know that feeling of abandonment. Why? Because again, we go back to it. I had a mother for a period of time. She removed her. She was kind of removed herself, or removed, you know what I mean, from my life. So I know what it is, where it's like, damn, I have this yearning, and this person is just not there. They're just not reading the room. They left me at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or same thing. You know, you have my father's in my life for a time, and we're good, and we're whatever the hell else it is, though. And you say the wrong thing, you do the wrong thing, and this person removes himself from your life. That to know what it is to feel abandoned, and then when you're with someone else, and you're like, yo, I know that you're like, I know that you could be this, and it's actually, I don't really quote that many people, especially not Megan Fox. I seen this quote from her, where she was just like, you know, you see like the beauty in someone's soul. You're like, yo, if you could just like, if I could get here and you could get here, we would just be like a phoenix. We would just like take over the world together.
Yeah.
But I gotta get here and you gotta get here. And I know that it may seem crazy and it may seem odd, but it's like, when you know that abandonment, you don't want to do that to someone else.
It's how much, the amount of care you have is how much effort you want to put into the relationship. Right?
Yeah.
If you really love them, and you've seen the good side, and you've seen them, you don't want to see the person collapse, right? So if you do see them going down an abusive behavior, you need to confront that, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's important that when you realize that you're not making any headway, or they're not giving you the same respect in return, it's important to kind of hit the brakes, take some space and reassess everything, rather than
that I agree with.
And
that's something that I learned. It took me time to learn that, because again, for me especially, like I said, because you don't want to abandon that person, because even that step away feels like, damn, like I'm abandoning this person in their worst, at their worst time. Because again, there's times where I'll get a phone call and I'm then like, I need your help, I need this, I need that, and I'm like, I know I don't want to do this. I know in my heart of hearts, this can't turn out the way that I expect for it to going to, though. But you still walk into that fire, because, but unfortunately, again, though, you know what it is to be in there, and just be, and you're like looking up, like, yo, is anyone gonna throw me a rope? And no one's there.
Yeah.
That feeling is just like, it burns your soul, and it sucks. But like you said, though, part of growth is getting there and being like, you know what? Damn, I can't.
Yeah.
Because
you
if
have
I
to
step
rise
into
to the
that,
occasion.
the
Yeah,
risk
okay,
of
this
me
is it.
getting burnt is going to be so much. And you got to think about it. For someone that drinks or does drugs or whatever the hell else it is, though, that can send them down like the biggest downward spiral.
Yeah.
And now now they're in the mud, and you're in the mud for that matter. I think that's
And
you
then,
know.
you're like, yeah, I didn't really sign up for this. And what did I get into? But that's that puzzle piece. You need to stop forcing that there at that point.
Yeah.
You take a step back and like, listen, I have my priorities. This is what I want in life. This is what I need. And if I'm not getting that same sort of
The
feedback,
love
the
and that
return,
respect.
then it's easy to walk away at that point.
And it seems like the major red flag is infidelity. I mean, there's other things like, maybe verbal abuse, physical abuse, obviously a big one. What about like fiscal irresponsibility? Like you see someone's always borrowing money, like they can't keep their finances in order, things like that. I think there's so much to unpack here that I don't know if I won't be here next week, but maybe you guys kind of do a part 2 on some red flags.
Yeah, we have to because Brittany is not here.
No problem.
Hi, Brittany. She's in the chat.
Is she?
Yes, she is. She said, "Get it, Jen."
How about like looking at your partner's phone? Would you
trust.
say is that a red flag?
Not for me. My phone is always unlocked, and so is my husband's. But
I think
then
if
again, we've
you're
been
that
together
thing
for
you're
10
being
years.
secretive. Like I understand privacy, but like
What?
if I have to, like, oh, you can't look at my emails. Then what am I hiding? Am I like, I'm getting solicitations that I don't want you to see, or maybe I have a secret life. Like I'm creating distrust. It's like, oh, I could open up my phone or a message to Sam and then just leave it on the counter still unlocked. And if she picks up my phone and, like we had a conversation about some emojis, right? And it was a conversation. It was like some people might take this the wrong way. Some women might see you as being flirtatious. I was like, that's my smiley face. I think the other ones are cheesy. That's what my mom sends me. But in respect to her feelings, now I didn't say, well, I'm going to change it overnight. I'm going to be more cognizant and more selective. And make sure it's not just sent out to everybody now. It's like, yo, you know what? If I send it to Sam or if I send it to somebody on the group chat, these are more personal relationships.
Don't send that to me, bro.
Oh, don't worry. I send you eggplants.
Don't send.
But Mike, that's you working together.
Yes.
That's you communicating. That
I'm
is
gonna
a
marry you,
healthy
baby. I know you're putting the kids to
relationship.
bed, but I love you.
See, healthy relationship.
And you're right though, but that's what I'm thinking of. Like that comes with that maturity,
Yes.
that self-reflection. Because again, back to your question, if you had asked me this honestly a few months ago, I'm like, hell no. So I was raised, for example, if Christina's pocketbook's over there, and she's like, Josh, can you pass me something out of my pocketbook? I'm not going in that pocketbook. There's nothing she can tell me that's gonna permit me to go inside her pocketbook and give it to her. I'm not doing it. I don't care who you are. My wife, my girlfriend, my daughter. I'm not going inside
Joshua,
your
stay
pocketbook.
away from
That's
my
right.
pocketbook.
It was vibrating a little while ago. And I was like wondering what's in there.
So
I didn't want to
I left my dog at home.
I'm gonna suggest we put a pin in this. We bring it back to next week when Britt and GQ could also add into the conversation. We have 3 news topics, and I'm gonna just present the easiest one first. Sean Diddy Combs is accused of sexual assault on the 7th in recent lawsuits over the last few months. So he's denying the allegations and the incidents, and they go all the way back to the 90s. We talked about this topic a little bit, but more has been coming out as the weeks have transpired since the initial accusation.
So from all the stuff that they took out his house, all the recordings and stuff that he personally did, that's how they're finding the victims.
But no one knows
And he's
that.
still denying.
And he's still denying it.
Hold on. Just because there's videos, there's 7 allegations you're saying. Okay, but once again though, these could be personal videos of things, private things that have happened though. I mean, are they 7 abusive videos?
Yes.
Is that what they're saying? Or
yeah, so
have we
what they're
seen them?
doing, We've only seen one. What they're
Alright.
saying is from all the videos that they have,
From his house, yeah.
they are calling everybody and asking what happened.
Gotcha.
So they're getting
Do
more and more
you-
evidence on
More
that.
evidence, right? And out of all of that, only 7 have said yes to
That yes, there were bad situations. Okay.
yes.
So I mean, Diddy. It's sad, and this is kind of one of the conversations that we have because again, it's one of our icons and one of our idols. Absolutely, just like the light being shined on him. And
I
again,
know.
it's done. It's over with. That reign. You know what I mean? And his career is over essentially.
It is. It's
So
done.
it's sad to see that
Done.
because we
So
grew up on that
so
music.
they've
you know?
essentially
did.
cheated the trust at this point. Can you
Say it again?
can you trust them again?
Sorry.
Well,
Diddy
I mean-
has cheated on us. We
If
are
these
breaking up.
allegations are 20 years ago. Again, once again, I'm not gonna sit here and say people cannot change, but
No, I
again,
agree. I
He
agree.
has
People do
100%
change.
ruined his legacy,
Yep.
and then possibly that thereof of the next generation. Because again, a lot of the times they're saying his kids were around these things.
Oh my
His
gosh.
sons have had recent allegations as well
Yeah,
of being very, very
you're
aggressive
right.
towards women and things like that as well, though. So I mean, again, it's sad to see it, but this is a R. Kelly situation all over again.
All
where you're just
over
like,
again.
Bro, you're done. This is a Harvey Weinstein situation where
Yep.
it's clear you are all done.
Yeah.
Time
I
to
can't
turn
think of the
that
guy that
page.
was in there was a show on Netflix, I think The Ranch. He was on that 70s show. The guy with the curly hair.
Yes. Yeah, he was on the
Ashton?
ranch.
He was, I don't remember his name though.
Ashton
No, not Ashton Kutcher. It's
No.
the brother.
I don't remember
of
the name.
Ashton.
Remember that 70s show?
Yes.
The one with the curly hair.
The Spanish guy or the
No,
white
no,
guy?
Man, it's something with
No, the
like,
other
like
character.
Robert-
I know he's-
I think it last name starts
He
with
went
an
to
M, something
jail.
like that though.
He went to
Yeah,
Oh,
jail.
he went to jail for what?
Yeah, and then even
For-
James Franco right now is kind of shadow banned for I think he was
Oh,
teaching some
yeah.
girls or something like that. Though, and he was
Danny
inappropriate.
Masterson.
Something with an M. Danny Masterson, Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey is another one. If you noticed, you have not seen Kevin Spacey in anything for a long time, and his
Yeah.
was against I think like gay boys or like something like that as well though. Why you stop?
But good. We don't want these people in the
Like,
spotlight.
But it's actually
We
it's
don't want
interesting
nobody
if you-
looking
if
up
you,
to
if
them.
you look at the overall big pattern, right? This really ties back to the entertainment industry, right?
Yes.
And what kind of environment it fosters or it kind of allows. And you have people coming into the industry that are victims,
Yeah.
and you've seen victims become praise, right?
Yep.
Where they see it and they're like, wait, this is what is acceptable, or this is the language or law
This
of
is
the
normal,
jungle,
yeah.
and that's what works, and that's what we should do too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because if you're not part of the system, you're easily kicked out, right?
Yes.
Yes. You get blackballed.
So it's
quick.
really going back to questioning the environment the entertainment industry's fostered for a very long time.
Yeah. Again, there's no way he's bouncing back from this.
Yeah.
It
No.
is pretty much done, and I think at this point they're just looking for because again, obviously the Cassie situation, they can't get a conviction. That statute of limitations passed. So I think
But
at
that
this point
video
though,
was-
they're trying to build on to something else to see what else they can get him.
To
'cause they
try to
can't
get
find
him in jail. That's right. And
Yeah.
I hope they do because he got away with the Cassidy thing. That
Cassidy.
video was horrendous.
Yeah.
Cassie.
Cassidy.
Yeah.
You said why you Cassie?
Cassidy.
There's no Cassidy. It's just Cassie.
Cassie?
Cassie.
Cassidy.
No,
Cassie is the guy. Cassie is the girl.
Yeah, because Cassidy's a rapper. That's why I'm trying to correct you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cassie?
Cassie.
Why is there a D in her name then?
There's no D. It's Cassie.
Really?
Yeah, Cassidy's a rapper.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no coming back from that video. After
No,
that
not
point,
at all.
nope.
And
You can
again,
apologize and all this stuff.
not
but
that I
the
don't
damage
cares
is
or
done.
whatever, but our condolences to Cassie and her life and her career because obviously no person should have to go through that.
I know.
And then on top of the fact that she has children now and things like that as well. Though, so those things get out and those poor kids because again, kids are horrible nowadays.
Yes.
So the kids in school is like, yo, I seen the video of your mom getting beat up.
Oh my God, I
You know
can't
what I mean?
even.
So that stuff like that is.
What?
That just sounds crazy, like,
I'm not holding it because it's like, why? Stop.
yes,
Stop. This is why I said we all sinners. Y'all laughing. Y'all going to hell. Every one
Well,
of y'all right
so
now.
I'll use
Sin.
that as a segue into the next one.
Yeah, what's
The International Criminal Court prosecutor is seeking an arrest warrant for Sinwar and Benjamin Netanyahu. Okay, for war crimes over what's going on with Israel and Palestine right now. So I want to read a little more in the article because I'm actually getting more information. I feel before we really dive into this topic to be very careful about what you say
I'm not saying.
and how you address it, because this is a very sensitive topic. You know, I feel my personal thing is I haven't really been paying attention because, and I say this and it might sound very insensitive, but I'm not Israeli or Palestinian, and the war is not my war. And so I feel if I address a side as a business owner, I have both clients of both faiths that I'm working with. I remember going to someone's house and they had a Palestinian flag over their tree. And just last Thursday, I was at the Long Island Jewish Center. So to have a very strong stance in either way, it is not my war.
But
So
I mean, okay, so here's my thing now, once again now, right? Okay, this is, and I want to be super clear as well. The pen that I was just showing it was a pen that a friend of mine gave me. He is Palestinian. He gave it to me. I put it on. That was it, though. And again, you're 100% right, though. I'm not Muslim. I'm not, I don't pick a side or anything else like that, though. But again, here's my thing. I am in certain circles where I've been privy enough to see certain images in certain videos.
And you were just over in that region not
And
too
I
long
was
ago.
just over in that region. So the tension that comes out of some of these Middle Eastern countries on what's going on is super duper high. And again, I think that what happens a lot of times, and this is speaking on just being a person of color. When we look at genocides from Africa and things like that as well, people are desensitized. It's almost like we expect it from them, and I'm saying, it's niggas killing niggas. It doesn't matter. You understand what I'm saying? But when they post, a video of Russia bombing Ukraine, and all of a sudden now there's blue and yellow flags all over the place, and it's the end of the world, and it's the worst thing that could ever happen.
So true.
For me, it's very different because again, it's more so being like a situation of people of color getting massacred, and it's like, oh well, no, you can't say anything about it because X, Y, Z. No, dude, it's not okay because again, we're talking about Congo in places like that where again, no, these men are going in, they're stealing children, they're turning them into children warriors, and then they're killing men and women and things like that as well, though. What makes one situation less important than another? But again, though, we'll send $1 billion over or $5 billion over to Ukraine. Ukraine is, to my understanding, I could be wrong, though, I believe Ukraine wasn't part of the UN. They had that option. They didn't do it. They didn't join in, though. But now, the U.S., we got to go in and, captain, save whoever, and we got to get in and now do X, Y, Z. So again, anyone that's watching, I want to be clear, like I said, and it's not about being politically correct or anything else like that as well, though. It is just that I just want to say again, though, for me, from being a person of color, from being separated or segregated in certain situations and knowing what that feels like, or for example, I don't know if you guys just seen it the other day though, 78% or 87% of all jaywalking tickets in New York City are given to Black and Latinos. Now, again, is it that extreme? No, but it is another scenario where colored-skinned people are singled out. Remember they had that arrest narrative a few years ago in New York City as well, though. When the numbers came in, who's getting arrested? Sir, 80% of them are Blacks and Latinos.
Yes, it is racial profiling too, right? And it could be targeted as well, but it's not about picking a side. It's, you kind of have to side with statistics at some point too, right? Where, 300 versus 30,000, right? And you question the amount of lives that are impacted. Growing up, you watch a movie and you see this guy, the action hero comes, whatever, Superman throws a flare, 10 people are dead, right, fine. But if you really dive into each single life, like that one child, years went into raising this one child, right?
Yeah.
Months, weeks, hours were spent, right? Now you finally come up and you're a young child, and just one, event happens and it's all wiped out, right? So and that happens on both sides, right?
Yeah, of course.
But there's the humanitarian side, right? Which is
And that's where I think where this arrest warrant is, because like there are certain rules and guidelines, and I don't know what they are. Like if you're going to stage a war, you were provoked. You're allowed to attack their military.
Yes.
You're attacking civilians, and that's now crossing the line. And then you're violating, other human rights that we say as a world, like involving children and maybe rape and the stealing from what do you call residential areas and things like that. You're not fighting. It's not soldiers against soldiers.
Generally, the rule throughout historical warfare, has always been that women and children were exempt from all this, right?
Well,
you saw them,
in
and you
general.
kind of like you move away, you keep going forward, right? Even in the most barbaric warfare, right? But here, those are actually the bigger prime targets. It's almost like really pinching a pulse intentionally to like provoke.
It feels like a wipeout kind of situation is what's in there, and again, because we are talking about what's happening in the Middle East, though. Like for example, we'll talk about there are groups that are out there. And I won't even say their name. The ones that did the attack on the music festival that was there, though. It's disgusting. Yeah. It's absolutely uncalled for. These are civilians. They have nothing to do with what's going on there. You understand what I'm saying? And the other part of that as well, though, and I understand where, for example, like being African American or Afro Latino in America and coming from African American descent and things like that as well, though, like you said, at some point, when the opposite side comes to us and they want to, all right, guys, we're willing to give you some rights now, and we're willing to give you some crackers so you guys can eat and things like that as well. Though.
And you got to be grateful for it.
Thank you, guys. This is so wonderful now. So this is why some of these countries don't want to come to the table and be like, no, we're not making peace now, bro, because at the end of the day, we've felt, suppressed for so long. Yep. But I mean, again, either way, there's no winners in these situations. And again, I think that the idea of world peace is crazy. But again, I do hope that some terms can be, they can come to some terms sooner or later. Yeah. Just to kind of stop these kind of things from happening, because it is sad and it is a lose-lose situation. Yeah. And what you were saying before, MVP, I just want to touch on this as well, though. Remember when the war with Russia and Ukraine started? Remember how many sanctions? Remember the rule book that they put out for Russia? You can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this, you
trade.
can't do that, you can't
we're
do
cutting
this.
you off.
If you guys do this, then we're stepping in. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
Hey.
Damn, why are we ending up in this sad
Did you
note?
say we have one more news topic?
We do, and it kind of suits with this. I don't know if we have enough time to get in with
Can
it.
we get something happy now?
It just gets.
It's been a dark day.
It just gets darker. This is actually about soldiers in Congo. So
Did I speak this up? I swear to God I didn't know. I swear to you I didn't know.
So the 3 American soldiers that are involved with the Congo coup attempt. Am I saying that correct? Okay. The coup. Okay. And so the article goes into hear what happened. At least 3 Americans were involved in the foiled coup of the Democratic Republic of Congo last week. 6 were found dead. Dozens of others were arrested. 50 armed men allegedly led Christian Magala, a left exiled opponent of Congolese government who once lived in Utah, staged the coup of Kinshasa, Congo's capital. It goes into more about the article, and I would actually have, like this
What about the 3 Americans though? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got
Including-
lost. I think
the
I stopped
3 US
listening.
Successful?
Well, they're accused of involvement with it. So yeah.
Okay, but was the coup successful though?
No.
Oh, it wasn't. It was debauchery. Okay, so these 3 Americans were trying to help essentially assist with this coup. So okay, help us understand where's the problem here though. Here you are in someone else's government doing stuff you ain't supposed to be doing, big dog. Throw them under the jail. Put them on top of it if you want to. Again, stop going to people's countries, doing things that you should not be doing essentially. Learn to mind your business.
Mind your business.
As I'm skimming through the article, it looks like they were solicited and they were paid anywhere up to $50,000 to $100,000 to travel to Congo for the summer. So they were.
They deserve to be under the jail, bro. You live in America, $50,000. Unless you live. Maybe in Utah, $50,000 is a lot of money. You can't buy a house with that, bro.
Not in New York. Not even a down payment. Bro, you need like $100K for a down payment right now.
That's like a Nissan Rogue.
I think if they pulled the trigger, they were getting $100,000. No.
100,000? Let me see.
It was 50 to 100,000 they were solicited to go.
I mean, $100,000. That's a BMW X5.
And that's a good down payment for a house on Long Island.
Yeah, and that's you. But you're gonna go over there to overturn another government?
In closing,
no.
that's a massive red flag. As far
That
as
is
they
a
were-
red flag. Yes, Tina.
Flag on the plane. Get them out of here.
Get the red flag.
Thank
So
you for
someone that
joining
makes
us.
poor decisions. Yeah, that's the red flag. Right?
Unscriptedentertainment.com for more information about us.
But wait, are we doing part 2 next week?
Yes, we are doing part 2.
Subscribe. Find us on YouTube. Come back.
No, but wait, I need to. Are we doing part 2 next week?
Yes, we are.
So there's a continuation of this conversation.
Yes,
Okay,
we're doing
so-
more red flags
With
next week,
Brittany
y'all.
Alexandra, she'll be back.
Brittany
And
will be
GQ
here.
win.
Brittany will,
And
yeah.
GQ win.
2 girls.
What?
And a partridge in a pear tree.
Basically, wait, are you coming back for this conversation?
Yeah, I'll come back for this.
You
There
gonna
we
do it?
go.
You're committed.
Have a
You're in
big
here now.
cast.
Yeah, so in other
next
words,
week.
guys, next week, tune in. It's gonna be 8 of us. Eight. That's 9 people.
That's going to be a lot of us.
Yeah.
A
No,
lot of
I
opinions.
mean, I hope the AC is on because it's hot in here today.
A lot
It
of
is.
flags will be, established.
I'm going to bring some red
Maybe we
flags.
need some red fans.
Same
Oh!
the time next week as well. I think we need more time next week. Can we do an hour and a half next week? All right. So then we're gonna start at 8 o'clock. We're gonna end at 9:30. All right. I'm sorry. I mean, you were
Close
closing out. She closed out already though.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Are we done? Are we out?
not
No?
really. That's,
All right. So
you
follow
are-
us on
wait,
Instagram.
No, you have to do a Sam's outro.
Oh, Sam's outro.
Yeah. I need enthusiasm.
You are
though.
loved.
Yes.
You are encouraged. Anything you set your mind to, you can achieve.
You believe it, you can achieve.
If you believe it, you can achieve it. Thank you, Josh.
We are the Unscripted Podcast.
Boo.
All talk.
Hey, baby.